So I will now hand over to one of my personal heroes, Richard Frankland, to welcome you.
Thank you very much. It's my job today to do an acknowledgement to country, and we like to remember the traditional custodians, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, but also we want to pay respect to all of you, to your elders past and present. When we include Indigenous voice in the cultural tapestry of this nation, we plant a seed, and we plant a seed that recognises the past for what it truly is. We plant a seed to recognise the battles and challenges that we as a nation face here in the present. And we plant a seed about a vision, about a hope that this nation will one day welcome us all home. Why do we do that? Because, quite simply, for 2,600 generations, my people, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, were culturally safe. What does cultural safety mean? It means we had the ability to tell our stories through our eyes, to grow our children with our hands, to celebrate our culture without fear of condemnation or ridicule. One of my stories, and if you don't mind, I'll tell two stories. One of my stories began right up there with Liz and I having a chat, and me showing, I think it was 2 pages of a play called Conversations with the Dead. And I said, what do you reckon I should do with this? And amidst some tears, Liz said, go and write it. And she found some money, and I wrote it. And it was used to change the attitudes of many parliamentarians and get the Koori Court Bill through. And I went on from there and I made a film called After Mabo, the Amendments, which resulted in John Howard being investigated by the United Nations. And then, of course, being black and political, I was unemployable, which was probably the best award I've ever had. It forced me to become an artist again. The other story I want to tell is Carissa's journey. Carissa came into my office at the Willen Centre and was talking a lot about Indigenous voice in the arts. And I said, what do you want to do? And she said, I want to do what you do. And I immediately thought, go and become a lawyer. So you can represent yourself. I watched Carissa grow as a person informed by her feminism, as a person informed by her indigeneity, to a person who is truly starting to use art as voice. And we all know when you've got art, you've got voice, and when you've got voice, you've got freedom, and with freedom comes responsibility. And I'm so pleased to see Carissa being part of this project, facilitating the voice of so many voiceless people and bringing an Indigenous lens to our stories in what I know will be such a wonderful way. I want to say thank you to Robin Ellison for what you're creating. Facilitating voice isn't easy, but it's so necessary. We live by our stories, and our stories live by us. We have great opportunity in this nation, and I want to extend an invitation to each of you here. And the invitation is simply this: don't be guilty. We've all been left with a legacy, and from an Indigenous lens, that legacy is quite horrific. But whether you like it or not, or I like it or not, it's a legacy in our hands. And it's more than just a legacy. It's an opportunity to change the cultural tapestry of a nation with story, with song, with the arts, with voice. And Witness will be one of the rungs on the ladder toward that. That's the acknowledgement. Thank you.